Strategy enthusiasts, stop right there. Just stop. Hold on. Do you like strategy games like Risk and Civilization? How about real-time strategy games like Age of Empires or StarCraft 2? If you answered yes to either or both of those questions, go buy Dragon Commander. I'm serious. Divinity Dragon Commander is kind of a weird amalgam of different game types, most prominently RTS and turn-based strategy. Stirred into that already interesting mix are RPG and third-person shooting elements, as well as a light card game component. You're probably thinking, what? Third-person shooting in a strategy game? How can that possibly work? But it does, my friends, it does. Let me lay this out for you. On top, you've got this sort of board game situation, the strategy map. Here you can manufacture armies and research different kinds of troops and powers, and you can also send your troops around the board in order to take over land, which sometimes has neutral troops or buildings for the taking. These buildings will give you cards, research point bonuses, or gold bonuses. Then there are the individual battles. Here you can take the role of the Dragon Commander and send your troops zipping around the map in a hectic RTS match. This plays out like any other RTS game, and the complex balance of different unit types makes it an extremely viable platform for professional competitive play. And then, to add another layer to this parfait, you can influence the battle by taking part yourself, as a dragon. A dragon wearing a jetpack. Yeah. This is that third-person shooting element. You can jump right into the action, seamlessly, and blow up a few enemy troopers with dragon fire. You can also buff your units and debuff your enemies as the dragon, as well as build and order units on the fly. Oh ho ho ho. If you think this sounds like a lot to get used to, you're certainly right about that. I can offer two pieces of advice on that matter. One, you don't have to participate in all of these elements to enjoy the story or even the multiplayer. And two, once you get the hang of balancing all these components at once, the game becomes an invigorating experience. It gives me that glorious general feeling. This game is a thrill, and I don't anticipate getting tired of all the planning, anticipation, and fast-paced decision-making anytime soon. Let me just say that if any one of these components doesn't appeal to you, you aren't forced to take part. I got the chance to play with David Walgrave, a producer at Larian Studios, who explained to me how all this works on paper. Essentially, any player who is interested in a single component of the game should be able to get through the story. You don't need the superhuman reflexes required to play against RTS pros. You don't even have to fight casual AI. You can strategize and win without ever leaving the strategy map through the game's auto-resolve feature. Additionally, there's plenty you can disable in multiplayer or single-player skirmishes. Want to force a Civ-like game where you can only auto-resolve battles? Go right ahead. Not good with those pesky dragons? Disable them. Or if you're just in the mood to stare unblinking at the screen for half an hour at a time, furiously issuing commands at a rate of 100 clicks per second, you can play straight RTS matches as well. There's a lot to be said of the story, too. Essentially, you play as the Dragon Commander during a civil war, and you have to wrest power from your siblings in order to restore peace in the Empire. Of course, this is just the high-level story. It's what lies below the surface that makes the game excel. Accompanying you on your airship are 4 generals, 5 counselors, and, in time, a wife. Essentially, every interaction with these characters can have an effect on your war effort. Say 3 of your generals want to rescue a hostage. You can allow them to go, but you have to do without them for a whole turn, and deal with the consequences when they come back. Often, your generals and your wife will give you fun strategy cards that end up helping you out. Additionally, these characters become more and more endearing as the story plays out. Even if you never use them, they can provide a welcome break from all the plotting. I have to take a second to complain here because no game is perfect. Some of the English voice actors aren't the best. Truth be told, the delivery varies greatly. Sometimes Henry's voice gets grating or boring, sometimes Catherine's, sometimes Falstaff's. On the same note, the animations can be weird. There is an overwhelming number of characters with teeth on the outside of their mouths. Edmund, Raven, Yorick, and Ophelia, to name a few. This causes the lip syncing to look slightly unnatural, but overall it's pretty good. Another intriguing element of the story is the political one. Those 5 counselors I mentioned represent the 5 non-human civilized races, and will often propose legislation which ranges from the legality of gay marriage to the legality of nude beaches. Every decision made affects the player's standing among those races, and standing has interesting effects on the strategy map. So if you take off the elves and your enemy happens to be entrenched in elven territory, you're gonna have a bad time. But what did we say earlier about not participating? That's right. You can also leave the political decisions to majority vote, which will usually screw you over on 2 races. For me, it would have been the gold-obsessed dwarves and the religion-obsessed undead. They often see eye to eye on things. I strongly recommend the political decisions because it can be fun to compromise based on the war situation, but if you're not one to question your own morals, that's totally fine. And there's not much left to say. Divinity Dragon Commander offers an impossibly engaging hybrid game that throws strategy at you wherever you look. It's perfect for anyone who has a strategic bone in their body, but won't be winning any prizes for its high-level story. But not all games need to make important statements with their main narrative. The devil is in the details, and Dragon Commander is chock full of interesting little statements about war, friendship, and morality. It's a game you shouldn't miss. I give Divinity Dragon Commander an overall score of 9.5 out of 10. This has been DingosAreFrisky with your review of Divinity Dragon Commander. Thanks for watching.